Hey everyone. So when you're checking on your investments, what's the one number you always look at? Today, we're going to break down the huge difference between yield and total return. And trust me, getting this right is the key to finally understanding the hidden story of how your portfolio is really doing.
It's a question every single investor has to ask themselves. You see a percentage pop up on your screen, and you think, okay, I'm doing pretty well, but are you really seeing the whole picture? Well, a lot of the time the answer is no, and that's exactly what we're going to fix today.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about yield. I want you to picture your investment as a big, healthy fruit tree. Think of yield as the fruit you get to pick from that tree every single year. It's that immediate, tangible reward you can hold in your hand.
So what is it technically? Well, yield is just the annual income you get, we're talking about things like dividends from an ETF, divided by whatever the investment's current price is. Now, here is the most important part to remember. Yield only looks at the income. It completely ignores whether the price of your investment, the tree itself, went up or down.
All right, let's make this super simple. Let's say you own an ETF, and it's trading at $100 a share. Over the course of a year, it pays you $2 in dividends. You just take that $2 of income, divide it by the $100 price, and there you go. You've got a 2% yield. It's a really simple snapshot of your cash return. So who is this for? Who should really be zeroing in on yield? Well, if your goal is to live off the fruit from your tree right now, you need regular cash flow to pay the bills, then yield is absolutely your metric. This is especially true for folks in retirement who are counting on their portfolio to generate steady, predictable income. Okay, so yield is the fruit, but what about the tree itself? Is it actually growing? Is it getting bigger and healthier? Well, that brings us right to our second metric, total return. This, my friends, tells the full story. Not just the fruit you picked, but the growth of the entire tree. Total return gives you that complete, panoramic view. It measures the entire performance by combining the income you got with any change in the investment's price, which has a fancy name, capital appreciation. This is the whole shebang. And the formula? It's actually super simple, but really powerful. Total return is just the income you receive, plus that capital appreciation, which is just the increase in your investment's value. You need both pieces to see what's really going on.
So let's bring this back to our tree. That income part of the equation, that's the fruit we were talking about. It's the dividends, the cash you can actually put in your pocket. It's the yield component.
And the other half, the capital appreciation, that's the tree itself getting bigger, stronger, and more valuable over time. A growing tree means more fruit in the future, right? This is the real growth engine of your investment.
Okay, let's go back to that same ETF. We know it had a 2% dividend yield, but let's imagine that its price also shot up by 8% over the year. You just add those two together, and boom, you get a 10% total return. See that? All of a sudden, you can see just how much of the story that little 2% yield was missing, can't you?
And now, for the fun part. We're going to put these two metrics head to head. A classic tale of two investments. This is where you're going to see exactly why just looking at one number can be so misleading. Okay, quick recap before the big showdown. Remember, yield is only the income payments. It's just a snapshot of your cash flow. Total return is the income plus the price changes. It's the full picture. Got it? Okay, let's go.
All right, check this out. This is where it all comes together. On the left, we've got ETF A. Let's call it the fruit tree. It's got an amazing 4% yield. Looks great, right? Then on the right, we've got ETF B, the sapling, with this kind of sad-looking 1% yield. Now, if you were just chasing income, you'd pick ETF A in a heartbeat. But wait a minute. Look at the price growth. The fruit tree barely grew, just 1%, giving it a total return of 5%. But the sapling, wow, it grew by a huge 8%, rocketing its total return all the way up to 9%. The investment that looked so much weaker at first glance was actually the much better performer.
So what's the takeaway here? What does all this actually mean for you? Well, it all boils down to one and simple, powerful question. What is your investing goal? The right metric for you depends completely on what you need your money to do. Look, if your main thing is generating cash, like right now, then focusing on yield makes total sense. You need to harvest that fruit to fund your life today, and a high yield is what gives you that immediate cash flow. But,
And this is a big but. If you're playing the long game, if your goal is to build serious wealth over time, then you have to focus on total return. Your goal is to grow the whole orchard, not just pick the fruit off one tree. Total return is the only metric that gives you the true, comprehensive measure of how much your wealth is actually growing.
And that really brings us to the final big question you have to ask yourself. Are you an investor who's planting an entire orchard for a prosperous tomorrow? Or are you focused on just harvesting the fruit that you need for today? Answering that question will tell you everything you need to know about whether you should be focused on yield or on total return.